You're listening to Humans of the Channel Country with Katrina Wills from K Wills Creative. Just letting you know that there's a few rude words in this episode, so you might want to listen when the kids aren't around. Listener discretion is advised. Alright, well I'm here today with Dogga Dare. Dogga is a legend in the Outback.
Mrs. Dare's little boy, Glenny.
Absolutely. So, Dogga, you've been coming out to Bedourie for how many years now?
26 years this year. We've done the catering here at Bedourie at the race course here.
Yeah, and you're a Channel Country boy through and through, aren't you?
Yeah, no, Thargomindah, born and bred down that way, yeah.
Yeah. And you still live down Thargo, don't you? Yeah. So what do you do when you're not catering at events? Is that your whole job?
No. So we got a real job. So Robin's we got a caravan park. We run at home there for the Shire. I suppose you say we bloody got the we work for the Shire, you just put in for it and you get that thing there. And I'm deputy mayor at home now. I've lived there all my life, so I know a little bit about the place.
Yeah, I guess you would. Yeah. So, what was it like growing up in Thargo?
So no, it's good. So I reckon I was the spoilest kid in Thargo. My grandparents had the hotel there at Thargomindah in the 60s, late 50s, 60s, and they had three daughters. And when I come along, I was the grandson, only son they really had. So I was bloody like, sure. I was like a dog with two dicks. I didn't know which one to lick, I was looked after,
You were well and truly looked after and spoiled by the sound of it.
Very, and not only a little bit, very spoiled.
Yeah.
And so, no, I had a good life growing up. I lived there I've lived there all my life, which I said before. But and then when I finished going to school there,
because what year would that have been?
So we're talking. I finished there when I think might have been 12, and went into Cunnamulla.
Oh yeah.
And went to school in Cunnamulla for 3 years, and mate, it sort of changed my life. I've got a lot of good friends in Cunnamulla, and we've been friends since I was early teenage years, and still all very good friends. And then when I finished at 15, my dad got me a job wool classing for elders, but I didn't want that, so I didn't take it. I got offered a job with a bloke called Bobby Goss as an electrician. I didn't want to do that. All I wanted to do, and I thought was a really, really good idea, was to go to Bulla Downs ringing.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do, and I had 12 months of that, and I'll tell you yarn about that in a minute. But that finished me up with horse ride and everything. Every day we were riding horses, and, like buck jumpers and bloody and when I went there, I could only ride like only could ride like pony club.
Oh, okay,
The first day I got there, I was thrown 3 times, and I just kept getting back on again. And so, and then I realised that I'd have a crack, that I wasn't, that I wouldn't sort of lay down, and so they looked after me then, and I got pretty good at it, and but I'd had enough of it, and while I was there, I was only 17, and my wife fell pregnant, so and that's why I probably stayed out there a bit longer, away from her father, I'm lucky to have them things between your legs,
Lucky the shotgun wasn't, or the rifle wasn't leaning up against the door that day.
Well, I was married when I was 19,
Wow.
So then I left there, and I went, because when you went home to my dad, my place, you would not sit around. You always had a job. All my life I've had a job, one job straight into another, and so when I left there, I went straight to Denver Downs, and I was rouseabout there for a bloke called Keith Johnson, and then the following year I went there and I started shearing.
Yeah.
And mate, it was the people that were in that shed there. I was lucky enough what would you say, like they really, really looked after me.
So they were like family to you?
Oh, very, very good people. And they were good people, and I was lucky enough to have them sort of in my life, you know.
Yeah.
And, So I stayed with Keith for nearly 10 years, and then I went contracting myself. And
wow.
So I went contracting, and I stayed contracting nearly 20 years. And
yeah. So you would have seen a bit of country while you were contracting.
Oh, 100%. So I was contracting with a partner, Andrew Sellums, who's still my best mate.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, we had some blues and that, but never, get over it, you bloody, and not many of them. And we had every shed from Thargomindah, Hungerford to Winara, every one of them. We had 600,000 sheep in their run.
Wow.
You had to go back and crutch them all. So you're handling 1.2 million sheep a year. So we used to have 7 teams of shearers going for us.
Wow.
And with us, and over that period of them years, we probably would have employed, coming and going over 2,000 people.
Yeah, I imagine you would have.
And so, like it was, and stayed very good mates. And the yarns and the stuff, and it's like a masons, like shearing games, like a mason,
Yeah.
Masons or the they're like a cult.
They are a bit.
Yeah.
I grew up on a sheep, cattle, and cropping farm.
Yeah, and you really,
you really get to know the whole shearing crew, from the wool classes to the Rouseys.
Yeah, so you might you'd be blueing with somebody out at the sheds, and you might try and gee somebody up and get going. To get them going or something like that. And then you go to town there and somebody's picking on them, well, you stick up for your mate,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's the way it's always been,
Yeah.
You stick up for your mate,
Yeah. That's what I love about being out here. It's a good community for that sort of thing, isn't it?
Oh, 100%,
yeah. So your link to the Bedourie is Robbie Dare?
Yeah, so Robbie's dad and my dad were brothers. And,
okay.
Yeah, and Robbie's dad was a terrific fella. He was, as was my dad. My dad, he looked after us. Anything when your family, like he used to rev us and give us a cracking and do all that. But they only do that because they love you, and you don't realise until you all got kids that like.
Yeah.
There's an old saying, isn't it? Like you won't die for your partner, but you'll die for your kids and your grandkids. And geez, that's pretty bloody true, isn't it?
It sure is, isn't it? Yeah.
But hopefully my wife's listening, darling. I'd die for you.
So you said you had a bit of a story that you were going to tell me.
Oh, right. What was that about?
What was that about?
Right, I've got to think of that.
Got to think of that. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, I was going to tell you about. That comes later on. I'll tell you about what I'm going through at the moment.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to tell you.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about me. I was just, I worry about other people. Anyway. So in my life, then when I finished shearing contract, and my sister had a motel, so we went and run that motel for about 5 years for Donna, my sister, and she had the shop and that's about the time we started this catering. We'd go out and do a lot of catering.
Yeah.
And then it just grew from there. And we we only just go out and help people out. And we're still the same. Like if you got some catering to do, first thing we'll ask who's doing your catering now. Like if the flying doctor's doing, we don't do it. If the kids are doing, we don't do it.
Yep.
And if the kids or the flying doctor, you don't knock them guys off. Otherwise, you'll go to a town there and shit, you nearly get killed for bloody taking over from the kids. I know that it happened at home.
Yeah.
Like you don't, you look after them.
Yeah, and that's about. Judging what's the best for each community, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then what did I do after that? So I went, I got a job in the Shire. Me and Rob went in there and we started a little business in Roma, and that Oh no, we bought the shop at Thargo, and Donna bought that off us. My sister bought that off us.
Yeah.
And it's a thriving business now. It burnt down and they built a new one there, and it's great for the town, you know. And so from there we went to Rome, and we had a little restaurant there underneath the School of Arts Hotel, which was bloody lovely little joint, you know, and Rob loved doing that sort of stuff, and then went down to the sale yards and worked there for 12 months. And, and I had to leave town because I ended up leaving Rome because my 4 best mates were all publicans, and so you know what I was doing every afternoon. I said to Robin, I'm moving on. I said I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not splitting up. I didn't mean like that. I said I'll break if I stay here because
it's too much.
I was punting and drinking heavy, and you know, and them little restaurants won't handle it. So I went out and got a job cooking for Senex out in the desert. Oh shit, it was a good job and good blokes, you know, and so I got a job there. And anyway,
so what's that though? I don't know what that is.
So Senex is like they were drilling for oil.
Oh,
you know, so we're out in the oil
rigs.
And it was a good job. And one come up, and I rang Robin up and said, mate, you better get out here with me. Like she was, you know, like what would you say, like. People were booking up burgers and not paying, and you know, there's not a lot of money employing people. You know what I mean? I said,
she would have been struggling.
I said, slip the collar and get out here with me. So away we went, and we were, and that was cruising. We got out of that. We knew that, so we went out there to do 3 months' work. We ended up spending nearly 3 years out there with Senex, and shit, they were a good mob of blokes, and they still are. I'm good mates with a lot of them still there. And we used to our little venture was, you know, we used to bloody have burgers and lunches and everything for them, like you know, like a roadhouse, you know, and people would divert, you know, out of Moomba, divert to come in and have a meal.
Come and have a meal.
Shit, yeah. So
wow.
So we had a good crew, we did.
Yeah.
So we finished there, and we knew we were going to finish there because. They'd pumped, I think 3 or 4 wells were dry, so we knew it was coming to an end. So we used to go for 5K walk in the mornings, and we get to this big old pump, and, you know, we turn around and go back, and we go, you know, praise the Lord, we love you, you know, dragging that all that, keeping us in work, and all that sort of bullshit, you know, just to laugh and a joke.
Just to have a laugh and a joke, eh? And
so anyway, when I finished, Robin said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I said, you've never had to worry about that in your life. I said, I'll find you a job. So as we go back, we had to go back in through Windora, Quilpie to come home for some unknown reason. And anyway, when I went to Toonpine, this was like, we'd only just finished it. Walked in there, and there's a guy there called Russell Reid, who's another one of my best mates. He said, what are you doing? I go, well, we just finished work. I said, we're going home, we'll get a job somewhere. He said, I'll tell you what you're doing. He said, you take over this pub tomorrow. Oh. And I go, what? I said, give me a fortnight or something like that.
Give me a break.
Anyway, that's what happened. So, he had to get back because he had a really big business in Brisbane, and he was sort of going to half retire, and he's flat out now, Russell, you know, and he's got a pest control business. Oh. So anyway, away he went, and we took over that pub, and we had it for I think nearly 4 years, and then I went down and run the White Cliffs pub for a little bit now, and the job we've got now is the caravan park, in Thargomindah, and that's where we're up to now, and and so anyway, we're all going well. We're bloody. And this is what I was going to tell you. So last year, about October, we were catering at Nakundra, and I got these really big pains in the gut, and anyway, I worked Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and people started to come out, and I said to my daughter, I said, you don't have to run me to town, so I won't sleep tonight.
Fucking
We've just got Kevy Barr Senior.
I can imagine the fucking stories that's going on here. Might be fucking 70 if he's not out.
If our bloke said to me once at home, he said, Dogga Dare, if bullshit was dollars, you'd be a millionaire.
All the best, Dogga. We're going home. We'll see you. We might not see you in the morning. Kevy will, but I won't.
Righto, brother.
Because I'm a bit busy. And we'll catch you whenever.
See you, brother.
Righto, mate.
Love you, mate.
See you, Katrina.
See you, mate.
See you, Kevy.
See you, guys.
It's all right, we can keep going.
Is that still going? All right, that's all good. So, but it's true, isn't it? Like, I love everyone out here. Like, you think all the locals and that, if they're good enough to bloody live out here and frigging work out here, bloody Jesus Christ, it's hard enough to get people out in this country.
It is, yeah. And silly ones like Greg and I just keep coming back.
Yeah, and that's good, But anyway, I went to the country anyway. What happened was I'd had a perforated bowel, and I went, anyway, they operated on me. And when they flew me in there from Thargo, it's about, I suppose it's about 33 or 34, 35, 36 degrees or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And anyway, when I got down to Toowoomba, they flew me down, it was 13 degrees, fucking hell, it was cold. And so anyway, they couldn't get me straight in, so I slept on the chairs that night. And so when they got me in there and they found out that I'd had that, because they thought that I'd had appendicitis or something. Yeah. And so, anyway, when they got me in there and they opened me up and done all this sort of stuff, cleaned me out and got me cracking, they said, well, we saved your life. And I go, all right, so any day from now on's a bonus, Yep. So, anyway, I didn't know that I'd had bowel cancer and liver cancer, see, and anyway, I go to the flying doctor, and anyway, the flying doctor said, oh, here you go, and said, I'm going to look up your chart. So she looked up my chart and she said, do you need somebody else here, Dogga? And I go, no, not really. Why? And she goes...
so in the hospital they gave you no idea?
No, I didn't have any clue.
Oh.
I had nothing, see. And anyway, I'm sitting there and she goes, oh, Dogga, you got stage 4 cancer, like stage 4A. So you only get A, B, C, and D. I think D means dead. There's no D,
No, yeah.
So anyway, I go, fucking hell, wow. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I've got to get the fuck out of here because they'll have me dead here before I get out of the bloody hospital. See? And anyway, she's telling me about her dad, how he lasted 3 years and all that. And I go, I go down 3 years. And that has never really worried me. It's just the shock of,
the shock of it, isn't it?
The bang of it, And anyway, when I got out of there and I walked out through the front gate, and I knew straight away what I was going to do. I was going to fight it. I was going to the only things I really worry about are my wife, my kids, and my family, and that's the only thing. But something, and I think to myself, if we were in a car accident tomorrow, like bang, their life would carry on, and that's the thing that But this is not what I ever worry about. I worry about kids, like 20, 30, because I had a nephew die the same thing as when I got at 28.
Oh.
Yeah. And anyway, but you worry about kids that are married. Marrying, they're paying a house and a car, and then all of a sudden the wife or the husband gets sick, and so where do they go? I mean, I think to myself, well, I'm lucky, we've got a job where I can sort of afford to go away, and then I said, well, where do they go? Because she wouldn't have a job, or he wouldn't have a job. Her partner would, he'd have to support her somehow,
Yeah, so and if he's got to go with her to get treatment and stuff, it makes it really hard on young ones, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I've been travelling down to Toowoomba since middle of December, so I've had 19 laps of chemo. It's nearly a 1900k trip every fortnight we do, and my backstop's with me. Rob comes with me, and because you need somebody there with you, to drive. So we go down on a Tuesday, or sometimes a Monday. and then we're back on. Friday. We'll try and make like as soon as I get. So I got a portacath in.
Yep.
So I get hooked up on Wednesday, and then I get unhooked in Charvel. So I'm 4 hours on the Friday. So it takes 46 hours to drain.
Yep.
And so anyway, but that's just my story, and you go to them. I suppose there's a lot friggin' worse people, and I'm going all right.
You are. You're doing really well.
I'm poking along all right.
Yeah.
So. And just having a crack,
And the docs have been happy lately with you?
Yeah, all the blood. They're like I've got one foot on the grave, and the other one on a banana skin, but I'm cracking all right. But anyway, can I talk about the floods at home?
Absolutely, because they were huge this year. We got out of it pretty lightly around here. Yeah. We were stranded for a while, but...
And, there's towns up along the Bulloo, like Adavale got hooked big time.
Yeah.
And then you go, like, Aramanga got hooked big time. Junda got hooked,
and it just came so quickly and so much, wasn't it?
Yeah, so our bridge, and what got us by surprise was, so the bridge height, so from bridge to bridge in Quilpie, it should never went over 6.3 or 6.4, but it went a metre over that. That's as high as it should have went. And our record flood at them times was about, I think, 6.7 or something like that was our record flood, and it went to 7.5 this year. And so
it's nearly a metre higher.
And 100%. So we'll never ever get a record. If Quilpie has a record flood, we would never have a record flood at home there if there's no other creeks running in below it. And we had no readings coming down that river there. Like there's no readings to tell us.
To tell you what was coming.
But what had happened is a big lot of rain, 10 and 12 inches, went across underneath them gauges underneath in around north of Toonpine there.
Yep.
And real big rain on water that's already flooded. See, so and we're all saying no, it's not. It won't. Like it's not going to get that high. And if we had, there's an old guy called Jimmy Hall used to live at Cayandra, and he could tell you within a couple of inches our way. If he had been there, like we would have.
You would have known.
Oh well, people would have got shit out of their houses big time because it come that quick. And it went through our houses. And what happens is, when it comes to home there's a bend in the river, and when it gets out of the channels, it changes course, and it sort of changes, and it comes straight across the dump.
Yeah.
And all the rubbish and the shit out of the dump went through all their houses, there, and all their white goods, and people lost everything because they couldn't get back to town. They weren't allowed to go back to town because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
You couldn't, they flew all the kids out. It was like,
it was crazy, wasn't it? I remember at the time, you and the young bloke were doing the reports.
Doing the reports on the river there, me and Jonesy, and, just the things that went on there, and the council, everything council done though, they'd never done that before, and and the few mistakes they made, Jesus, you couldn't have wished for better, you couldn't have no, I wouldn't say for better because there's still 30 people out of their homes now.
I'm not surprised.
They're living in caravans, and they won't get back into their house until next year.
Because it all takes time. Having lived through the really severe bushfires on Kangaroo Island, and there's still people who, 5 years on, are still only just getting into homes. So, it takes time. Yeah.
So, and there's people doing it hard, and insurance companies like one little girl there's bloody. Her insurance went from 12,000 to 30,000. The house only worth 180,000, and you can't justify that.
No.
And look, I've lived there all my life, and if you had said to me, that was going to be a flood like that, I got one house there. That with what's going on with me, I haven't had time to go through a shed there yet. So the shed's still sitting there waiting for me to go through it.
So there's stuff covered in silt and all
100%,
sorts. That
100%, no, it'll be all in that back shed. I know what's there. It's from that And we never ever used, so we haven't been right. It's the stuff out of that restaurant in about 2013. There's all that stuff in there that we pulled out of there. So.
Yeah.
But we lost absolute shitloads of gear, like where we were, and I wasn't the only one. Like everyone, look, everyone lost gear in Thargomindah, and we needed help. And bloody hell, and we got it. We got it big time. Like we were lucky enough to have a federal election going on, so we had Peter Dutton. But David Littleproud still comes in. We've had the Premier out, but the Premier, they're backing up all the time. So they're out there, they'll come and visit. And
then you had all were they Blaze Aid or some of those as well, Farm Angels and...
But we had that much stuff coming into town. We had to get Lifeline to move stuff on because otherwise it would have got hoarded, thrown in the dump. So we get them. So we got Lifeline on to keep moving stuff on. The hall was just full of gear, and there's only 250 people in town. You know? And so
and you end up with too much.
Yeah,
some things.
And in the meantime, all this is going on. People still aren't in their houses,
No.
But they've got clothes, so they've got all this stuff there. But really, the chasing is, like stuff like fridges, which we had these young kids at home there, Anthony and his wife Gerda, and they got on a fridge for a friend.
Yes.
Well, the friggin' fridges they come. God, they done a good job, And kids, I tell you. So we had the inspector police, we had everyone there, and when the flood was like a disaster, we had these kids like 15 and 16-year-old, never had a licence, but driving around town, but working their friggin' asses off, like they'd work around town, and when it all come back into order, the policeman puts right, she's back in order, boys, no more driving your cars around, But, and they were just out working.
But they were working the whole time.
And helping and driving. And they can all drive out there, and they weren't going silly or anything like that,
Yeah. No, they were doing a job. And, it's like a lot of these kids out here on stations, and even me growing up as a kid, we all learnt to drive young.
We all learned to drive young, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, we were having a little joke with little Mason out at Cameron Downs with his parents the other weekend and before the races, and Damien was saying how he wasn't going to stay long. He got stuff to do out at the station, so he's heading home early, and little Mason says, "Oh, well, Mum, if you don't want to go, I'll just drive myself in." He's a whole 8.
Don't worry. They can drive them little kids.
Yeah, they can. And I could see him too, sitting up there with his little cowboy hat on. And
ever since we've been able to reach the pedals, we were out with Dad pulling windmills, and we'd be driving the truck and pulling the rods and the pipes and that up for him. And
that would have been interesting times doing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, we were. Well, he, them days, with 7 of us in our family, and if he could get free labour and he'd grab us kids on the holidays, he'd go, pack a couple of changes of clothes there, righto, where are we going? We're going up to Mount Margaret for a couple of weeks. We'd have nearly the whole school holidays up at Mount Margaret, pulling windmills, concrete and tanks and doing stuff, but oh, geez, I'd love to be able to turn back time now, and bloody, I wish it was still the same,
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, very good. Thanks, Dogga. I've really appreciated sitting here having a chat to you.
It's bloody good, mate. That's about where my life all goes, and I'm lucky enough to have good support in what's going on with me, and well, I think I'm going all right. I wouldn't like to be a cocky's dog. They'd probably shoot you out there and say, "How you going, dog?" I say, "I'm good. My tail wags, my tongue hangs out."
No, I reckon you've got the best attitude of anyone. So
right, mate.
Yeah. No, and I've known you for a few years now. I reckon I first met you in 2011 when we were out here, and I was helping run all the events and do all the stuff with Robbie and all the rest of the crew, and definitely call you a mate.
No, well, that's it, isn't it? No, you have bloody laugh and a joke and a bloody beer and bloody home,
absolutely. Yeah. No worries. Well, thanks a lot.
No worries, mate.
Well, that was Dogga Dare, one of our well-known people, or characters, I should say, in the Channel Country, and a good mate to everyone, always up for a laugh, help you out before he'd do you a bad turn, and he's just all-round top bloke. After I finished recording, Dogga and I actually continued our conversation, and I wish I'd still kept recording because he came out with some good things. One of them was talking about his days back when he was ringing and riding horses and buck jumping and all that sort of stuff. And apparently it was years later, after he'd been in the shearing game for a while, and one of his old bosses saw him and said, "Oh, you want to get back on a horse, Dogga?" And straight away he said, "No, mate, you cured me of that." And and then we got talking about his family a bit more, and the book called Outback, and it's the history of the Kelly and the Dare families. It was written by Ian M. Kelly, but Dogga had a fair bit to do with it, and he quite proudly was showing me some of the photos, and there's a beautiful photo of Myrtle holding Violet with Wally, Charlie's half-brother, Bob, Audrey and Ruby at Meeba Downs circa 1929, and it's an old slab hut, and it would have been interesting living in that in those days. And he also pointed out to me how, there was Adeline was born on Meeba in 1930, and the family tells how Myrtle was butchering a goat for meat, and she went into labour and gave birth to Adeline, helped by her children, and then went back to finishing butchering the goat. Charlie was away fencing at the time, and it was while Charlie was working on South Canterbury Station, west of Windora, that tragedy struck the Dare family with the death of Violet on the 2nd of February 1933. Aged about 6 years and 11 months, Violet had a hole in the heart, a type of heart defect that is present from birth, and had been sick all her life and could not play or get around like the other children. Charlie was away when his daughter died, and Myrtle had to dig a grave for her daughter and wait about 2 days for Charlie to return before burying Violet at the South Canterbury Bore. Violet's grave is on a sandhill, easy to find and well maintained, with a steel fence and a plaque on a large boulder. And the family thinks that Violet was probably named after two of her mother's younger sisters, Violet Barbara and Ellen Maud Bowman. Imagine not only giving birth while your husband's away and you're slaughtering a goat so that the family has meat, and you go back to doing it because they've still got to eat, even though you've just given birth. But then not only that, imagine the middle of February, and out here it gets hot. I'm talking high 40s, well over 50 degrees at times, and to be digging a grave in that heat, and she's grieving as well without her husband there, and I just can't imagine it. I just think these women that lived out here were so amazing. So thank you so much, Dogga, for taking time out of your day and taking time out of spending with other Bedourie locals to do the interview with me. I really appreciated it. I love spending time with you. As I said in the interview, I've known you since 2011, and you've always greeted me as though we've known each other a lot longer than that, and it always feels like I'm talking to an old mate that I've known, or someone in the family that I've known for years, and it really makes me feel at home out here in the Channel Country, even though technically this isn't my home. I do class myself as a local now, but yeah, I still call home the southeast of South Australia and Western Victoria. So, it's people like you, Dogga, who do all these wonderful things for everyone. even while going through chemo and battling stage 4 cancer, to travel from Thargomindah to Bedourie for multiple events this year and do the catering with your team has been incredible. So I'm sure everyone out here really appreciates you and all that you do for our communities. So thank you very much, and thanks for listening.